I'll set the stage here for a minute. Pat and I have worked together here at the company for several years, very well, I think. I'm a manager in the quality department. There are several of us, and Pat is the director over us. And we've worked on many different projects together, and I think they've been very successful, and I've enjoyed the work, and I think that we've got a good track record. So I was actually disappointed and probably a little bit hurt when things changed over the last few months, and it really came to a head when I was appointed the lead project manager recently, a position that I thought I had earned, and the team was working together well. And I walked into work one morning and had an email saying that I had been relieved of that position. And the email was not a professional thing to do. It would be better to do that kind of thing face to face at this point in the relationship. But I was also very disappointed just to be relieved of that project. It was going very well. So I immediately wondered what in the world was going on, and I heard that it was due to absenteeism on my part, and I have indeed been gone from work a little bit more than usual, but I've never used a sick day. I've never called in at the last minute. I've used my vacation days. I've arranged my life so that I can use vacation days to deal with some business that I've got. So all in all, I thought that I was handling everything very professionally, which is a hallmark of mine. I take great pride in being a professional. In thinking through why this may have happened, what I finally come to is probably it has to do with personal life, which again is really troubling to me because I try to keep my personal life, I do keep my personal life and my professional life very separated. But sadly, my husband and I have been separated. We're filing for divorce right now. And my husband, Bob, and Pat are cousins. And so I'm, at this point, having to wonder if that played into the decision to relieve me of this project. I have to assume that, Pat, you and Bob are hanging out, and you're hearing things about my personal life that is now affecting my professional life, and that is really disturbing to me because I work hard to make sure that doesn't happen. I have not talked about my divorce at work, and the idea that it could end up affecting me makes everything a whole lot worse. So I guess I'm deeply bothered by the email demotion, and then very troubled further that it might have to do with something in my personal life.
Well, I'm unsure really of what the issue is for Sherry, except that she received the message via email. Right? I apologize for that. I mean, I was feeling like we needed to make a change, and I didn't want to wait. You know? I thought about it for the weekend, wrote the email, thought that would be the start off of a discussion. Okay, you know, it's probably better to have done it. Made the change in leadership of that those quality initiatives face to face. But we weren't likely to be in the same place for several days, and I simply didn't want to wait. Okay. I'm sure she is disappointed to be relieved of that as the lead of this initiative. She's done very good work in the past and was instrumental in the development and the startup of the quality initiative. Right? However, it was my assessment that it's time to make a change. Okay. It's not that different really from a baseball manager making a change. Okay, some people are going to think it's great strategy, and some people are going to think it's a bonehead move. Right, and you know, I'm confident that this is a good call. You know, as hard as it is for Sherry maybe, and it really wasn't that easy for me to make that decision. It had to be made. You know, and I'm confident we'll be just as strong as we were before, maybe even better. Okay. You know, I have absolutely nothing against Sherry, you know. She's a valuable member of our team. We've, in the past, has done great work. We've worked together for 6.5 years and never had a problem that I know of. We've seen each other at family get-togethers, holiday gatherings, had some great fun, you know, and had some great laughs over time. We got along well. You know, as she said, her future ex-husband Bob is my cousin. Okay, and he's a great guy and a hell of a bowler too, by the way. Okay, right. Her annual performance reviews are really excellent to exemplary. Okay, well liked and well respected by most people in the quality department. Okay, so this isn't really a performance assessment thing. It's just a difference in opinion about who needs to lead the initiative now at this point. Okay. As a matter of fact, there is no drop in her compensation package or her fringes. Okay, due to this decision to make the change in the leadership. I can see how she might see it as a diminishment in her status. Okay. But her job title remains the same, pay remains the same, compensation remains the same. Nothing's different. It's just two quality managers, one being changed with the other. One person's being the lead on the initiative and one's being replaced. Okay. It's one of those times I can't please everyone. Right? I have to make a decision, and after reviewing the progress we've made over the last several months, I felt like it was time to make a leadership change there. Okay. I feel like we need someone who is of high quality. We had that before, and we continue with that. And we'll be here every day to answer the questions when our staff need clarification, advice, or direction. Okay. In the last couple of months, Sherry's been gone from work a little more than she had been in the past. And she hasn't violated company policy in any way, shape, or form. Okay. But we've experienced some blips and slips, I'd say. Okay. I just want the quality initiation to continue as well as quality initiative continue as well as it has. Okay, we're at a very significant and critical time. We're just starting to get the last of those skeptics to buy in. Okay, and so that leadership needs to be consistent and present. Okay. Now, could I have handled the notification process better? I suppose. Again, I apologize for that. Right. It was one of those situations when a face-to-face meeting was the best practice. Probably was. But I let my wish to get it done override the best way of doing it. Okay, that absolutely could and should have been handled better, but the decision to make it, I stand by. Thank you.
Okay, I heard that you apologized for actually letting me know about the change via email, and if that was just a small thing with not a whole lot of baggage attached to it, the apology would probably work for me. The issue is that by doing that by email, what that said to the entire team of managers who are my colleagues is that I was not worth your time for a face-to-face. And so not only did I lose the project leadership, I lost some credibility, I lost some status, I lost some power, I lost some standing. And I have to go forward with this group of people now, having lost something I can't get back, because I didn't give it up. It was taken from me. And so that is a real issue for me. The email sounds like, oh, that should just be a small thing, but it's got a lot of stuff attached to it that's not such a small thing. And that's only the part of it. I mean, you said blips and slips. That's the first I've heard of any blips or slips, Pat. I stand behind my work, and I arranged vacation days on days when my stuff was taken care of and I was waiting for decisions from others, so I don't get the blips and slips. And if there were blips and slips, somebody needed to tell me. And I didn't get told, and that leads me to the final thing, which I think you didn't tell me because I think you were avoiding me. And I think you're avoiding me because of personal stuff, because of this thing between Bob and I cannot afford to go down here because of something that happened at home. I can't afford that.
I'm unsure exactly where to respond first, except obviously I know what's going on with you and Bob, right? That has virtually nothing to do with this decision, okay? Maybe the things that you've done, you know, the misses, the blips and slips aren't necessarily performance things. I'm gonna go back to that baseball analogy I made earlier. You know, you were doing a fine job, and it may have continued, right? But my decision as the director was to make a decision that was, if I could increase the excellence, the quality of it, that's my job. That's what I did. And so if I didn't do it well, I want to apologize for the email again. I would have hated to receive an email like that from my boss, okay? And I would have felt the same as you. Maybe lost some credibility with my coworkers. But frankly, and I think your coworkers are probably more annoyed with me than they are with you, to be honest, because they said, "What if that happened to me?" Okay? And so I share that, and I apologize for that. I should have been better about sitting down and saying, "Look, Sherry, this is how we're going to go." Again, your job is not in danger. You're not going down here. Your job's not in danger. It's simply a reassignment of the leadership position. No compensation change, no status change, no nothing. Right? So maybe, I know that doesn't answer everything you want from this, but the decision, while it's not a popular one necessarily, I believe is a good one, and it's my call. It was my call here, and I felt like it needed to be done. You know, if it would help for me to address that in a meeting with the workers about the change, with the staff about that change, I'm happy to do that, because I like to be upfront and honest, okay? But beyond that, I don't know what else we can do here.
Here's what I think we could do. I think we can take one thing off the table that will help. Going with your baseball analogy, because as you know, I watch some baseball too. If we could agree that instead of just taking me off the pitcher's mound, you come out and we have a meeting on the pitcher's mound so that everybody sees we've discussed this, then I leave. But if you just stay in the bullpen and don't say anything, and all of a sudden I'm walking off the pitcher's mound, nobody knows what's going on. I'm humiliated by that. So if there's going to be a big decision like this with no warning whatsoever, I would appreciate it if that would be face-to-face. Efficiency, I understand. I've lost a lot here that I'm going to have to work hard to get back. The efficiency doesn't make it for me. Beyond that, though, if we just forget about the whole email thing, you say that my compensation hasn't changed, my status hasn't changed, my job title hasn't changed, but something changed, Pat, something changed hugely. And I think what you're saying is that it is affecting my performance at work. I'm saying I disagree. I have worked tremendously hard to make sure that my divorce does not affect my performance at work. If you think it does, I need to know how.
Is that what you're asking me?
I need to know if my performance at work is being affected by your perception of my divorce.
That's a different question than you asked a minute ago, but let me just say that the only thing that changed was absenteeism. I had no idea what that was about, the times you missed, when we were at a critical time to make the change, to reel those skeptics in. That's the crux of the decision here. You know, all the other things are separate. Like you said, they're separate. Okay? Those are separate items. The difference between good performance and great performance, that's what I'm seeing. Your performance is very good. The person that I appointed, I think we're going to get great performance for the next run. Okay, you did a great job of startup, with development and startup and getting it going, and it may well have continued had you not been absent as much as you had been over the last few months when really you were needed here. It would have been better to have you here. And it's not, if you can see it as a punishment, but it's not a punishment. It's like, how do I make it the best it can be? And frankly, it wasn't with you right now. And that has nothing to do with you and Bob or any of that. Just because I know it doesn't mean that affects it. And I gotta ask you to trust that. You know, people have been through other difficult circumstances here, interpersonal circumstances here that haven't where it hasn't been reflected in their job assessments, and it's the same thing here. I think we're getting there. It's not very fast, but we're getting there. The issue is, for me, there's two issues. The one is that I did it poorly. That the communication channel I used was poorly. It was done poorly. When you have something difficult to do, you do it face to face. I violated that rule. Okay, and in fact, we might not be here because maybe Sherry and I would have had the big conversation that we're having now had I done it that day. Well, Pat, why is this happening? Okay, she would have felt more respected, still angry, still distressed, still disturbed, but not angry, but not as angry, not as about loss of status. She could be angry about the decision, but not about how it was done. Okay. The other issue is Bob. You know, the Bob issue is like it's a big deal. It's a big deal, but it doesn't affect my decision. You know, the decision is do what's right, do what's best for the company, do what's best here, and I think it was the best decision. And is it coincidental? I think it's coincidental rather than causal. It's coincidental that she's going through the divorce with Bob, but it's not the cause of the decision. And I may not be able to get to that. We may not be able to get to that. Probably, yeah, certainly. The relationship has changed in that maybe the non-work related stuff, you know, the friendly bantering or whatever has probably changed. Yes, the relationship has changed in that way. But Sherry's great at what she does, you know. So like, would I want to lose her here? Absolutely not. Okay. But in truth, the decision was made based upon what's best for the Quality Initiative Program. There were some things that didn't need to happen. Okay, that I feel didn't need to happen, and they happened. That wouldn't have, you know, that would have gone on with had there been a little more consistency. And I can't say anything else. That's it. That's it for me.
We are being very polite, but it's not getting to the root cause here. I've worked here 6 years. I have a certain number of vacation days. I've taken the full number every year, and my performance has been wonderful. This year, in the last few months, I've taken vacation days. I can count them up right here. I'm taking allowed amounts of prearranged vacation days, and all of a sudden, there's blips and slips. No, I just don't believe it. There's no way that these two men, each of whom are important to me in my life for different reasons, are not somehow discussing our life, and it's not ending up hurting me here. I can't believe that it's not somehow hurting me here. Out of the blue, vacation days are now creating slips and blips when they haven't for 6 years.
So you feel we're not getting to the root of the matter?
No, and I'm afraid because the divorce is not going away. And so the relationship stress between Pat and I is not going to go away. I need to somehow feel safe that only my at-work performance will play into work decisions, just like they have for the last 6 years. As awkward and uncomfortable as it is, I guess that Pat and I are going to have to perhaps discuss the divorce a little bit and clean that up and then move forward from there. But neither one of us have said a word about it at work. And maybe that's getting in the way. I've tried so hard to be professional and not breathe a word of that to anyone. I think that he has probably done the same. And it's probably a big fat elephant sitting in the middle of the room. We have worked together well for a number of years, and I've really, really enjoyed that. And it has gotten hard recently, and this has been hard professionally because it has been really hard personally. And so I guess I just need to say that divorce doesn't just affect Bob and I, it affects you too, and it affects our whole family. And I think you have been avoiding the topic and I've been avoiding the topic because we're trying so hard to be professional. But I am pretty shattered. And I have to assume Bob is too. We're not talking that much, but I assume he's talking with you. And there's always a lot of perspectives going on here. So my guess is the stuff you're hearing isn't always the stuff you'd hear from me, and that's irrelevant. The point is, it's really messed up right now. And I'm trying very hard not to let that affect work, but I still need to say, it probably does. Because I'm coming in here going through a big struggle right now.
Yeah, well, I'm glad we can talk about it, because I think maybe there's a perspective that just because I know things, or I've been told things, I'm not even sure I know them, but I've been told things, and it's very painful for Bob, and it's painful for you, it's painful for me, because I enjoyed the time we get together, and I think the world of you. You've done a great job here. That it doesn't taint the things that we've done here. But I'd like to think that the decision made, okay, I'm gonna get to that, and then I'm gonna go back to the family thing, is coincidental rather than causal. It's not like related to Bob, okay? It's not like punishment for being in a divorce. People go through divorces. I try really hard not to choose sides in those. Having been through one or two myself, you don't want people to choose sides. Just it's just what happens to people. Bob's hurt, Bob's hurt, and as his cousin who likes him very much, and we do stuff together, I hurt too. Probably not nearly to that dimension, and if that has leaked out at work, I apologize for that. I hope to and plan to get along. None of this precludes you from being the lead on any future projects, okay? What we've done here, it's just, none of it excludes you from that, just right now isn't the time for you to be in my mind, to be the lead on this particular initiative, regardless of the divorce. And that's my, as hard as that decision was, because I respect and like you so much, it's where we're going.
So, we agree that it's a tough time, and that we've each paid a price for that. But going forward, it's my performance that's going to get looked at. And if you have a problem with my performance, you're walking out to the mound. You're going to talk to me first.
Absolutely. That's fair.
That works for me too.
And again, I apologize for not doing that part well.
I'm here today because I feel that TJ isn't working to his abilities or whatnot, playing around. I just recently got promoted, and I want to, go further in this job. I see him sometimes flirting around with, other workers. So I just want to, to have a meeting with him just so we can be on level ground or whatnot and resolve the problem. Pretty much. Yeah. Sometimes the lines go down. He's the guy to fix them for us, and I look over and I see him laughing and playing with Angie or whatnot, and I just he's here to do a job. Do your job. Talk to her on your break or whatnot, or after work.
I was called by Fletcher because I am not participating in his line the way that he sees fit. I see where you might think that, but that's how I act, just in general. I like I like to work, but I also like to play. I like to have a balance between the two, and I was just switched from night shift, so coming on to day shift, it's just been a little bit, it's been a hard transition to begin with, but also, I just, I don't know, when the flirting, like, that's, like I said, that's the way I am, but she's a pretty girl. I mean, we are men, but not working to my ability, I feel as though I am working to my ability. I can see where you, like, it's a different job. I don't know what you do with your job, and like my job is different and everything, but I feel as though I do get in and get out and everything, and I'm just kind of a little confused, a little, not offended really, but just kind of set back by what's happening here, because I kind of feel like I'm being cornered a little bit.
TJ is a good worker. He got promoted for a reason, you know. I just observe him when he go to other areas, and when they're down, he fix them. He get right on it. Ain't no joking. But then when he come over to mine, it's like I'm hearing rumors about him and Angie. I'm thinking maybe she wants the position or whatnot. I mean, I don't know. So I just want him to get on it so we can get my line back running. You know, get the production going back again. Like I say, I really don't know the guy. He seemed like a pretty nice gentleman, you know. So that's why I was called to have this meeting with him so we can get it resolved. I just see him flirting a little bit. When the line go down, he's working, but he's also talking and, you know, just doing different stuff. Like as opposed to when I see him at the other lines, he's like, he just straight at it, you know, ain't no conversating with anybody. And I just feel that he's, you know, I don't know if he's trying to make me look bad, helping Angie get promoted up because she was in a race with I. So I'm just wondering what's going on.
I can see where you're coming from. I really can. At the same time though, I just, like I said before, I just got moved from night shift, and I was on that for years, and I loved it. I love night shift, and day shift, it's just a whole new set of people. And when you see me jump from line A and line C, it's because those people aren't as friendly. I just like hanging out with you guys, honestly. I mean, yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that Angie was not promoted and you were, like, that right over my head. I'm not trying to sabotage you by all means, but at the same time, I mean, truly I do enjoy hanging out with you guys. I can see where it might be a little bit more professional to kind of go quicker and finish my job and get your line back on. Like I said, I'm not trying to sabotage you, but at the same time, I just kind of, like, I hope you understand where I'm coming from, that, like, it sucks being on day shift. I don't like it at all. So that's where I'm coming from, is that I find joy in line B, and you just happen to be running line B.
TJ, another issue I have with you is that I hear that you and Angie been going out. I mean, I believe in the company's policies that you're not supposed to date within the company or whatnot. If so, you should make it so obvious by joking with her. You know what I mean? And then she was in the running with me on this promotion. So I'm thinking you really like trying to get her promoted and me demoted at the time.
I kind of feel like you're attacking me here. I really do. I feel like you're first of all, the whole Angie and I thing, that's private. That has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, I talked to her, but I also talked to many other people. Nothing between me. Like, I'm a very jovial person. I talk to everyone. I feel as though, yeah, I am dating her, so I do feel as though maybe it wasn't quite fair that you got the promotion. Before I even was dating her, I didn't think it was fair. I thought it was kind of just, she's been here the same amount of time, and it's just, I didn't get it. But that's not my decision. That's a higher up, so I can't really be the one who says anything against that. But about the operating thing, if you want to get another operator, that's fine. That's what, you know, I'm the best. I am the best at what I do. So you're more than welcome to. But if your line didn't go down as much, maybe we wouldn't have to have a bunch of operators out there all the time. So, yeah.
Well, said before, my supervisor, you know, he came to me saying what's taking my line so long, and the other lines are up and running. So I was thinking with you and Angie, I don't know if it's true, hanging out. I was just wondering what was going on. I mean, third shift is a little more laid back.
Yeah, for sure.
First shift, my supervisor's here, all the supervisors, you know, you never know who's in, you know, so I just was you know, just trying to see what it was, why it took my line so long. I mean,
Right.
I appreciate you saying you like my line or whatnot.
Yeah.
You know?
You guys are enjoyable. I mean,
Yeah, and I appreciate that. So,
But at the same time, I do understand that it is we're at work, and I didn't even cross my mind that I'd be upsetting you. I
mean, my supervisor came to me, so
Right,
I just got promoted. I didn't want to
No one
get
likes that.
demoted. So
Yeah, exactly.
therefore, I mean, I asked for this meeting and whatnot.
And from what I can see so far, line B does run pretty smoothly when things aren't breaking down. You know?
Yeah, so-
So I understand though that for the future I'll just have to joke outside of work basically. I'll have to try to keep it down to a minimum and
I mean, we at work. We want to work and have fun. You don't want
Right.
to come to work and you know.
just work. Who does that?
I heard you thought I was stiff a little bit. So
Well, yeah.
maybe we could joke around a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, but still get the job done.
Right,
So
right.
it's okay.
Yes, sir. I completely agree. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I really didn't have any kind of problem. I was called to this meeting. I didn't call it. So the only thing I really could say at this point now is that I don't know. You don't have to worry about me and Angie. That's like I'll keep that. I'll try to be more professional about that. So maybe if you could just not bring that up again, especially because it is against company policy. I'll handle that with HR. Obviously, HR knows now, so I'm gonna have to speak to them anyway about that. But for future reference, can we just keep any conversation about my personal life at bay? Just not.
Absolutely. But I was also thinking maybe we can switch Angie to another shift or to another line and just see how it goes in. I don't want to because then people might think you picking on them or whatnot. So I really just want to resolve it between us and you come to the line. I mean, you can speak to her, Joe. We just, you know, keep it moving or whatnot. And we're here to work. I mean, production, so, I mean.
Right.
Yeah, it could come to switching her. I really don't want to because then you might get upset with me and then it can prolong the situation again.
Right.
I mean, I don't want any bad blood between the three of us. That's why we're here right now to resolve the issue and just see. And as far as like the policy with you and Angie, I figure you shouldn't be joking around with her as much because it's obvious if you don't want it out.
Right.
So I just like for you to come over, do your job. I mean, like you say, you're the best. I don't want to put somebody in your position to come do it. I mean, it's taking a while now, so if I put somebody else, it might take about the same distance when you can break it down and have it done, you know, since you're pretty good at your job.
All right.